Hey guys, it's JJ, and today we're going to talk about people are messy and all those things that seem to make life hard, right? And so actually, it's really not if you have some discipline. So we're going to start there. I'm going to give you 3 points and we'll have an awesome rest of the day, right? So number one, people ask us all the time how we are able to do so much and have been blessed with so many businesses and houses and real estate and whatever. It's because we messed up so much, right? Any athlete, any of that, has way more losses than wins. It's because you learn through each one how to get better. Make sense? So a lot of times we have spent life out of balance, which I think is pretty common when we've been on the front end of building a new business, whatever we've thrown ourselves into, because we're the 110%ers. If we commit to something, we are all in, and we're going to give it everything we got. And sometimes that means that we're not giving the people around us anything we've got. So I'm going to give you an example of that, of our own life that was a epic fail. So I used to homeschool the boys and volunteered for 8 years at the ministry we're at. And when I was offered a position there, it was just a little part-time situation. I was actually hired as a Y director. So visited with the boys about it, whatever, thought we'd be able to do it all. Well, I went there to build something and wanted to change it and wanted to turn it into a full-blown ministry on its own, whatever. Got way out of order. So what happened was we finally sent the boys, by the way, they outgrew me pretty quick in homeschool. Shocking, huh? The boys we sent to public school, and one day Dakota came and plunked himself in my office chair and said, in a nutshell, you promised. And I was like, what did I promise? And he said, you said this would be more important than me. Oh my gosh. If you're a parent, having that said to you is a game changer, and should be, because that means you're out of order, right? Is there anything on this earth that you love more than your children? I've heard grandchildren. Hopefully that's a ways down the road, right? So let me tell you something I changed that day. What was happening was I had thrown myself so much into this ministry and helping other kids that were high risk, that didn't have families, all those things, while our son was just started to play football. I think they went to school toward the end of 7th grade, public school. And then in 8th, we began to see a little bit of talent, and in 9th they said kids got a gift. So I wasn't making any of the games because I was supporting the other kids that didn't have parents at their games. I thought that was cool because they had a parent at the game, right? Jay was playing too, but I think he was only like in 3rd grade, so we weren't there yet. And so having your child say that to you is a life changer, and it makes you get things in order once again in your life, so to speak. And what's always taken us back to center and builds a firm foundation is you've got to recognize it's God, it's your garden, and then everything else, including your own ministry, your own business, your own whatever you're growing. So don't get things out of order. Don't try to make yourself God, because you're not. And very quickly you'll recognize it tearing up things around you, right? You can't make enough money to have a good relationship with your kid. Not gonna happen. You can't serve enough people to keep a marriage together. You can't do it. It takes a huge network of people to build anything successful. And if you're a control freak, guilty, you spend your life rehabbing your control freak ways, okay? So first thing, most important thing, and what most of America is seeing destroy their lives today is simple, out of order. God, garden, your ministry and mission, and everything else. So keep first things first. Otherwise, you're guaranteed failure. It's just how it is. Look around you. You can see it. Build your life on a firm foundation, guys. People are messy, right? True story. Number 2, I think that we don't give ourselves the grace that we give others sometimes. And so I've heard it said a million times, if you're a leader, then you can forgive everybody else, but nobody forgives you because they're putting you up here. And guess what? You're human too. Life happens. Sometimes you just need to step back, look in the mirror, and make sure that you've got your foundation firm and forgive yourself. Because then and only then are you free to move forward. Make sense? All right. We are messy, you guys. It is what it is, and we all screw up every day. And if anybody tells you otherwise, run from them, okay? Number 3, complacency kills people. Everybody thinks they've got it all together, and so they begin to go into cruise control, right? So if you have gone to a certain height in business, if you are, the person that people are like, good job, rah, rah, whatever, it doesn't take long if you think you're here and stop growing until you're sliding off that mountain. So the way that we've been able to do all these things is to do continuous personal growth. And so the real estate, I've told you several times, we bombed terribly until we educated ourselves and began to grow in that field. And it's not like you stop. We're still high in it, heavy in it, building, growing all the time. If you're on our site, you see stuff we're listing and posting and buying all the time. And that's how real estate works. And the same thing with ministry. There's more people today in the group we serve that need our help than there was 10 years ago. So, there was nothing easy about the building, and it was years in here before it ever came out to be in existence and fully paid for and able to bless a bunch of people. So, on that, let me just say that you have to create order in your life, because the main stuff stops being the main stuff. It isn't worth the cost, because that cost becomes real personal, right? So I'm a fixer. I know a lot of you guys are. That's why you have the servant's hearts. That's why you're entrepreneurs, right? That's why we do what we do, because we want to help and fix everything and everyone. That's just in us who we are. And let me tell you, that's a limiting belief, because you can't. People have to choose to change, and you can't force them to do that. So if there's cycles that you see in people's lives that have been going on for years and years and years, and you have something that can change that, but they choose to not change, that's not on you. And that's where we go back to the second piece. That's forgive yourself, because it was never up to you to bend someone else's will, okay? And move on. Go help somebody else. Somebody that's willing to help themselves. You're not going to help anybody enabling them. You help people by teaching them to fish so that they have a lifetime of food, right? All right. Just keeping it real. And again, you guys, people are messy and people screw up, but it's okay to dethrone yourself. How's that? God bless you. Have an awesome day. See ya.